Okay, so I haven't really organized my thoughts, but just sort of gonna go at this. So, after recording Jonathan's sort of interview, I guess, um, I think it was kind of everything I expected, and I think that when you ask kids those types of questions, I think they tend to believe what you're told. So, I think that the way existentialism works is that I think the way you perceive the world when you're younger is the way you'll perceive it when you're older. So, just like Jonathan perceived that the purpose in his life was to be a lawyer, I think, and a judge, I guess, is only because his mom has told him that's his purpose in life. Like, his purpose to be here is to grow up and become a judge and bring justice to the world and put criminals in jail and you know, to 9 year old, that's what he believes his purpose in life is. And there's so many other children. Like, I remember my life when I was younger, and I think my purpose in life was possibly to become the next Spice Girl or something stupid like that. But I think as you grow and you get older, you sometimes think and believe that these things that you've grown up around or like the things that your parents tell you because they're the biggest influence on your life. And I don't know, like I think like for me, like if maybe I didn't grow up in a, a Christian slash Catholic home, I think maybe my views would have been different on life. What if I grew up in a Buddhist home? Would I still be Christian or would I still have the beliefs of a Buddhist person? Like, I think that in life, like, you're just the people around you are the people who affect you. And I think, like, your parents or your guardian, whoever it is that is around you, your most influential person in your life is kind of like the person that will help you decide what you're going to be. And for me, I think that is really, really true because now that I come to think about it, like, I was told the same thing as Jonathan at his age. I was told, like, you're going to be a lawyer. That's what you're supposed to do when you're older. You go to school, you learn, because one day you're going to bring justice to this world. And that was always my mom's dream for us. And, like, till this day, when people ask me, like, what do you want to do with your life? I still say a lawyer because I've never been told anything different. I've never had any other opinion. And, like, that's the only option I see in life. I've never thought of maybe not going to university and going around the world, maybe traveling, seeing other things in the world. Like, I've always thought the same thing I've been told since I was little, and I think that's the greatest like common factor with most people and like teenagers especially that are my age and like from our generation because we're not really given a choice. And I think that this will soon change because I think when we start to raise our children and we start to be more open, and that's what's really happening with our generation, that our kids will have their own individual opinions on life and be able to choose what they want to do. But I still think that somewhat they will still be influenced, that the world will still influence you to believe what you're supposed to believe the norm of people, the norm that, if you have to believe in a god, you have to be Christian or you have to be Buddhist or you have to be Hindu or, you have to be an atheist because, maybe there's no such thing at all. So I think you you don't really have a choice in what you want to believe until you take action to think about it and think what you want to think and not what people are expecting you to think or have told you to think from a young age. So I think that was really interesting to see with my brother, and um, you'll probably notice it too when you watch it. And I think another thing too, which is interesting to see from my brother and learn from him, was I guess sort of like the innocence of thinking about death. Like when I asked him if he ever thought about death, he first answered no, but then he kind of shied away and said like, yeah, I kind of do. And you know, he doesn't think of death like the same way we would think of death. Jonathan thinks of death like as if a consequence to an action that would lead him to death because that's what he's told. If you do this, you touch fire, what's going to happen? You're going to get really, really hurt. You could die. So, like, death to him is consequences. If the consequence to an action leads you to death, not that like one day I could die just out of absurdity, like just die for no reason, have cancer, get shot one day. Like in Jonathan's opinion, it's so almost like what he's told, what he's told to think about death. Because I don't tell him any differently. The only time I ever mention death is like, Jonathan, don't run up the stairs or don't run down them. You're gonna fall and die. And that's all he knows. It's almost crazy. Like you tell them what to think. You tell them that death is because of consequences, and it's not till they're older that they learn that, you know, death is just nature. It's just life. It happens. You die. And I don't know. It doesn't scare him either. He looks content talking about death. And I talk about death and it scares the living shit out of me, so. Anywho, so I'm ranting here, and yes, that is my opinion for today. So, yeah, and I wrote a journal today about a quote that we wrote in the self-knowledge thing, so I hope you somewhat understand my thoughts because they're really rough. And halfway through it, I got distracted and went on Facebook, so that is not great. But yeah, I really hope that you read that over and you get this. All right, see ya. Bye.